movie that we didn't mention, but I think is really interesting was Two Flags West.
All
So
right,
I
right.
swear I get a lot of flack for saying this, but I swear that's a blueprint for Major Dundee, the Peckinpah film. And people love to argue, and we'll skip over it because you haven't had a chance to watch it lately. But I will say it even has not only the same story points of Union soldiers recruiting rebel prisoners to fight renegade Native Americans, but they also leave the base singing the Dixie song in both movies. You can't
No.
tell me that, but it's one of those things where Wise directs tension really well
Hmm.
between and what decision will the rebel commander make versus the Union commander. But obviously, after the Sand Pebbles, um, in terms of some of his more interesting movies. I mean, this guy did everything from like ghost stories to musicals.
Yeah, you go from The Day the Earth Stood Still, Star Trek, Sound of Music, Sand Pebbles, I Want to Live. I mean, he really covered every genre there is,
Yeah.
and all of them are like within that genre, excellent films, among the best. And The Haunting among horror films, a lot of people hold that one up as being, on the level of The Shining.
God, it knows I'm here.
Look, I know the supernatural is something that isn't supposed to happen, but it does happen.
Now look, Doc, we're buddies, okay? But don't try to convert me.
I'm trying to prepare you. My name's Marquay, Dr. Marquay, a scientist interested in the supernatural. The unnatural, if you like. I came to Hill House to find the key to another world. Assisting me in this exploration of the unknown was Eleanor, Nell, who could look back into the past, and Theo, something of a witch who could see into the future. This is Luke, who didn't believe in anything, until evil, patient and waiting, made him change his mind.
Stop it! God. God. Whose hand was I holding?
How many of us take seriously the things we cannot or do not want to understand, simply because we are afraid?
Eleanor, you're Paul! Did you hear me calling?
Oh, this house. You have to watch it every minute.
The Haunting was produced and directed by Robert Wise, brilliant producer of West Side Story. The stars consist of a cross-section of top talent in the world of entertainment. Julie Harris, Claire Bloom, Richard Johnson, Russ Tamblyn.
What does it take to convince you that the dead do not always rest in peace? That some houses, like Hill House, are born bad?
Well, I think The Hauntings, I mean, first of all, I found out recently from Disney legend Kirk Hansen that that was the inspiration for the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland. Walt Disney sent all his wed people out to see The Haunting. And now, when you go through the Haunted Mansion, you know what I'm talking about, where the walls push out and stuff.
Yeah.
But we had Richard Johnson on this program several times before he passed
Oh, yeah.
away. He did probably 100 movies, but man, did it always came back to The Haunting with him. We
Yeah.
always asked him about The Haunting, haunting this, haunting that. And I think what's unique is the movie had such an impact on us, right, Bruce? But you think for those guys, it's six actors in a house.
Yeah.
You know, it's six
Yeah, and I
actors
think I
or
think
four
when he
actors in a house.
talks about it, because of the ease of the production, they're
Yeah.
on a movie set, they go into work, same spot every day, and they just work their way through it. and they would just, add stuff. I mean, with the door that pulses.
Right.
They had a lot of fun with that. They said, "Well, let's work on that a little more. What can we do to make this door work?" And I think they came back to it a couple of times and said, "Wow, that's really great." So I think they had a lot of fun and like, okay, let's try something out here where they would have the time to do it because, the story's very simple. These people gather in a haunted house. That's the movie.
Right.
There
You're
are
a
lot of
renowned you're a renowned director, prone to throw some tricks into the action to make people think one thing or another. Like there's moments where they were like they're like in the greenhouse and the actress Claire Bloom says she moved or something and then they leave the scene by pulling in on that statue. Do you think at any time that they were doing that, they go, this isn't going to work, Robert. This is not going to scare anyone. Or did you think they knew it was going to be such an effective movie?
I think they probably had a pretty good guess at it. I remember when I did my one and only horror film, I did enjoy going to the theater where it was playing, and I sat in the aisle across from a solitary guy that was in there watching the movie. And I knew when something was gonna, did it work or not work. And he had his popcorn. And of course, just before the scare moment, I would just watch him. And sure enough, the popcorn did come up out of his cup. So I thought, oh, that worked. And a couple of others, I thought that would have worked better. And then I hear later on stuff that scared people I didn't even think was scary at all. But you never know. You take a good guess at it, and there are certain things you could do. Like somebody jumping into a close up, and that kind.
Right.
But,
well, there's the Hauntings on Turner Classic Movies annually at Halloween for a reason. It's also on throughout the year, of course, because it's so good. But there was also that moment where all of a sudden they shift and the nursery door is open.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and that spiral stairs that starts to
Yeah.
shift. I've got vertigo. I get anything like that, I just cringe. And every time that comes on, I've seen it dozens of times. Gets me every time, and like, oh God, not that stairway again.
and Johnson is so good as the PhD, like trying to investigate doorways into the unknown. When he narrates the whole trail into the movie, the Hill House was a house some would believe was born bad. That whole, he just really sets the stage, and Weiss is smart enough to let him just eloquently do it. And it's funny because like I forget that I look at that movie and I forget this is the same guy that directed West Side Story.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Hey guys.
We're the Tennessee werewolves.
Hey guys, help us cure MOSD. Along with the cancer.
Yeah. Go to the Guthrie Jackson Foundation, donate. Every dollar counts. So whatever you give, they need your help.
Absolutely.
Bring it out.
Yeah.